Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Thursday, July 18th at midnight 2019. Half of the country will see temperatures of 95 degrees or higher over the next 7 days. It's like a haze. Grand solar minimum much? We'll get to that. Keep calm and dab. It's boom time, kids. You've entered the effing awesome classroom. Heavy snows keep high country roads closed. July 13th, 2019. Sonora, California. This winter's deep snow, while melting, is still hampering high country road cleanup in the Stanislaus National Forest. Ho, ho, ho. Travel remains hazardous, forcing Forest Supervisor Jason Cook to extend the road closure order through July 31st or until conditions allow the roads to open. This includes multiple roads. Check it below on the Motherlode. Holy macaroni. What did we just erase? Probably something very important. Let's reopen it. Stick with us. Minor perturbations in the beginning of this video, which is not a schmidio. It's a boom of knowledge. Let's check it out. Snowmelt is filling up Lake Tahoe and shrinking its beaches. Who knew? Who knew there were beaches in Tahoe? South Lake Tahoe, CBS 13 reporting snowmelt is dramatically filling up Lake Tahoe, making it difficult for summer revelers to find a little piece of paradise. Visitors have been taking notice how much beaches have shrunk this year. With the summer melting the snow, which we would never see, Lake Tahoe reached full capacity on Sunday. The lake is still just over 6,229 feet as of Wednesday, and the fearmongers and global warming alarmists told us that this lake was going to dry up. Along with Lake Mead. Yes, I doubt it.
No triple digits on the board, but it means that snow is melting up in the mountains, and it is filling up Lake Tahoe. The lake level actually has risen dramatically, leading to a shortage. The lake is about 6 feet above its natural rim, surpassing the quote legal limit, which shows an impact on how much water the Tahoe City Dam.
And of course, all that water eventually goes down to Reno, which can pose flood concerns, so you can see where.
Did you guys just hear that? The lake has surpassed its legal limit of filling. Oh my goodness. Good times. Half the country will see temperatures of 95 degrees or higher over the next 7 days. Let's check out what Ivan Cabrera has to say.
Pressure with sinking air and weather fronts have to go up and around, and on top of us here, we are going to be seeing temperatures dangerously hot, not just for 2-3 days. This is going to continue through Sunday. So quite a stretch of hot weather, 105 to 110, where you see the pink, a little less so in the areas shaded in orange and red, but you get the idea. Quite a stretch of hot weather, and it includes north of 70 million of us, right? And so this is also for the eastern seaboard, from the Carolinas heading up into Philly, where it'll feel like about 105 to 110 day in and day out, and even
Yeah, I admit our connection sucks, but so does his reporting. Nearly half the U.S. population will see temperatures at least 95 degrees over the next 7 days, according to meteorologists. This pales in comparison to the climate catastrophe of 1936 at this same time.
The overnight temperatures
when
going to be
over
quite warm,
40
70s and 80s
states
as well.
Were over
this is
90
factoring in
degrees. And now we're talking about half of that number, and it's a catastrophe caused by you. Temperatures will be in the mid-90s in the summer. Oh my God! And 100 degree in some places. Did you know that 15 states were over 100 degrees in one day back in 1936? It's almost embarrassing that these people do not check the facts. That you are here, and the same time after cycle 16, take a look at cycle 16 and 24. They look like mirror opposites, like we're on the opposite sides heading into a minimum. Take a look at that. 16 was right after a big peak. After a big peak of 24, we had a small cycle, and we are living the same historical time. Some of America's most extreme weather occurred in 1935 and 36. In fact, most of the decade's records happen in these 2 years. 40% of the states recorded the lowest year precipitation on record. Oh my God, it's a drought that'll never end. 11 states recorded the lowest one-day temperature. Oh my God, it's an ice age. while 26 states recorded their highest one-day temperature. We were all burning up. In the spring of 1935, the Dust Bowl was taking place in much of the Great Plains and is being repeated today. Are you listening to me? It's happening right now. Based on science, based on cycles of the sun, based on sound science that we have been categorically been predicting what would happen based on other cycles very similar to the one we are entering and living right now. All across northern sections of the country, winter brought a bitter cold temperature. New record snowfalls were recorded. Missoula, Montana had February totals of 43 inches. The West Coast experienced extreme rainfall. Oh my God, back in 35 and 36. Brought severe flooding to the Mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, and Northeast. The floods caused $270 million worth of damage and cost the lives of 107 people. Following the record snowfalls and cold temperatures, spring of 1936 brought severe flooding in the Mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valleys, and Northeast. Mother Nature wasn't finished yet. The tornado season started. 17 tornadoes blew through northern Mississippi, Tennessee, and northern Alabama and Georgia. 446 people were killed in rare nocturnal tornadoes. Do you hear that? Nocturnal tornadoes coming to a planet near you. It was a very hot summer. Some of the cities that recorded record highs were Minneapolis, Minnesota at 108, Fargo, North Dakota at 114, Fort Smith, Arkansas, 115. Actual temperature. That would be real feel heat index of 135. Are you listening? Tulsa, Oklahoma reached actual 117 degrees on August 18th, 1936. Iowa had its hottest ever August day, with the average high temperature for 113 reporting stations at 106.5. At 113 reporting stations. Holy macaroni. The summer heat was so intolerable. Many families slept outside at night to escape the heat of their houses. The following 3 photographs were taken in Humboldt County and provide a visual example of the amount of snow that fell during the winter of 1936. Take a look. Take a look at Iowa, Ames, Iowa. Don't let them fool you. This is coming. The cycle is repeating. You're living the Dust Bowl, dangerous heat and humidity building from the plains to the East Coast. A strengthening ridge of high pressure will produce much above average temperatures from the plains to the East Coast. I wish I took some video of outside of the ranch here. It was so dusty. The whole air was thick. I thought there was a fire. And then I started doing some research and I said, this is the Dust Bowl repeating. So if you notice the haze, it's just beginning. Highs in the 90s and triple digits combined with humidity and dew points pale in comparison to the catastrophe in 1936, but will be taxing on humans and the infrastructure. There will be power outages. People will suffer that are not prepared. There will be indices as high as 110 to 115 through this weekend. Air quality will be exceptionally poor because all we do is pollute and tax your ass for plant food, which, by the way, you're exhaling right now. In case you didn't know, heavy rain spreads across British Columbia ahead of mid-July snow threat. Let me repeat that. Mid-July snow threat. Wednesday, July 17th, heavy rain spreads across BC. Wednesday ahead of an unprecedented setup that threatens late week snow. Hey, we called this yesterday, but I guess they're just catching up right now. The potent stream of Pacific moisture is set to bring significant amounts of rain, even the risk of embedded thunderstorms to BC on Wednesday. The unusually wet pattern for this time of year is even threatening to bring snow to the Rockies at the end of the week. And this is in defiance of what is usually BC's driest month. Cosmic rays are to blame. Take a look at the snowfall totals. Right there. Jasper, just south, 10 to 20 centimeters in the entire range there. Look at that. That's amazing. That's could be a couple feet.
Well, Thursday morning, you look way, way up Vancouver in the Pacific Northwest. A record-breaking jet stream will be moving over the region. This is unprecedented for July, and I'll show you some data really backing that up from the soundings from Washington State. But these are the wind speeds forecast. This would fit right in one of the winter months, December, January. 280 kilometers an hour, 140 knot jet stream, barreling towards southern BC and the Pacific Northwest Wednesday evening through the first half of Thursday. There's over 45,000 balloon soundings here, and that's how much of an outlier this is. A jet stream in the middle of July has not been recorded really much above 110 knots. This is forecast to be about 20 or 25 knots stronger than that. Highly unusual, and I don't really have an explanation for why this is occurring.
Oh my God, he said it.
Well, Thursday morning, you look way, way up
Misbehaving jet stream is so extreme. Big weather swap coming to Canada. Expect a pattern reversal now. Soon, actually. But it's like now. Get ready, Canada. You're going to be burning up and you're going to be freezing your arse off. All in the first half of July. Major pattern change, weather swap at the end of July. Look at the temperature anomalies. If you're hot now, you'll be chilly in a minute. Grand solar minimum much? This is the meridional flow causing those huge perturbations of the jet stream, bringing extreme changes in the climate, causing crop loss and other failures in infrastructure that will slowly cascade until the magnetosphere wanes enough and the solar flare takes out the grid and you're not ready. And we go back to the Stone Age. For a very, very long time, USGS data analyst reveals a new supervolcano is forming under Naval Air Weapons Station China Lake in California, associated with this ongoing seismic event. Now, apparently there's a whistleblower who has not been confirmed to be actually a whistleblower yet by Forbes. But here's the alarming message, and I'm going to read it to you. Alarmingly. I worked at the USGS headquarters as one of the main data analysts. We have been coordinating with other agencies around the world to censor information, not cause a panic, i.e., the USGS downgrade service. I was flown out with a team of geologists to Naval Air Weapons Station China Lake to map the area and see what's down there. Unfortunately, we found there is a huge chamber of magma, far, far larger than even Yellowstone. We have now confirmed it's a new supervolcano forming. The magma chamber is very active, but is not yet rising to the surface. We fear that another major quake may cause a large fracture, enabling the magma to shoot to the surface. FEMA, the National Guard, and other agencies have been alerted and are on standby to evacuate key VIPs. You may see Black Hawks arriving in LA, picking up people, evacuating them, as well as other major cities. We've been censoring and removing fault lines and earthquakes from the live feeds as the faults have expanded. There will be no mention of this anywhere, so leave now as the fireworks are ready to start. Well, now that is a dire message. And here's a link to Dutch Sense, which I don't support that guy, so I'm sorry about that. So there you have it. Clover Chronicle picking up some shite that I'm just reporting on. I do not agree with it. I have suggested that the biggest threat to the West Coast is Long Valley caldera as long as a year and a half ago. So that's what we're working with. And this seismicity is now releasing itself and reducing in numbers of quakes, aftershocks, and there has been some release here in the Banda Strait in Bandon, Oregon. My bad. But this is the Cascadia rupture zone, and that's good news. 5.4 kicking off, no tsunami reported. Tiny quake, but releasing that pressure from the major fault that happened in Ridgecrest just days ago. No other quakes of note. However, I lie. Sometimes I lie. I do so many things in a single day that it's almost unthinkable. And sometimes I miss out key pieces or facts, but I digress. 4.7 in Palu, Indonesia at 555.6 kilometers should give us pause here. This is in a heavily populated area. There could be a major quake kicking off here in the next 24 hours. So take note. Tsunami warning. Take note. We have quakes at depth in Palu, Indonesia. Heads up. We'll be watching it. Worldwide volcano news update. Nothing of importance. Sunga API new to the list in the last several weeks. Puffing to 8,000 feet. You should be puffing too, or dabbing. Popoca, Tapetol, Karaminsk, Reventador, and Fuego. Popo puffing to 20,000 feet. That's 5 miles. Well, 4.5, but who's counting? Sabancaya, intermittent emissions. Karaminsk to 8,000, just a minor puff. Fuego, also 16,000 feet. That's a moderately substantial puff, and so on and so forth. When the big one happens, the skies will darken in 1/5 of the globe. So, World Health Organization declares Ebola outbreak in Congo a global health emergency. It's happened, folks. It's happening now. Global unrest, disease, famine, Ebola bleeding from the eyes. Geneva, the deadly Ebola outbreak in Congo is now an international health emergency. The World Health Organization announced on Wednesday to scare the shit out of you and to take names. The virus spread this week to Goma, where people's eyes are bleeding and there's blood and dying instantly. City of 2 million. It should spread to all of them, and they will all die momentarily. A WHO expert committee had declined on 3 previous occasions to advise the United Nations Health Agency to make the declarations for this outbreak for weeks. We could have been warned ahead of time before everyone dies with their eyes bleeding and sharding to death in beds where no one helps them. With the big yellow suits like Outbreak. Remember that movie? But I have to do something. This week, the first Ebola case was confirmed in Goma, a major regional crossroads in northeastern Congo on the Rwandan border with international airports. And that means that Ebola's loose! You're going to get it. It's coming to you. Don't fly. Unless you want to die and bleed from the eye. This is a comedy show, by the way. Good times. USDA identifies 2 Monsanto strains in rogue GMO wheat in Washington state. This isn't breaking news, but it is breaking news. July 17, 2019, according to Chuck Abbott, these genetically modified wheat strains have been identified in this region as long as 7 years ago. But apparently they're back. I don't know how they ever went anywhere because they were already identified. But the GMO wheat discovered growing wild in Washington state fields this spring was identified because they were spraying herbicides like glyphosate, which killed everything but the wheat. So these farmers can suck it because they're disgusting, and they spray all this herbicide, and they're like, hey, look at this wheat that's living. Oh my God, Monsanto did it. You're spraying pesticides and herbicides, you prick. You're not the solution. You're the problem. Goodbye. Weird science, also the problem. Could piling man-made snow on Antarctica stop the ice sheet collapse? I doubt it. There are 1,000 volcanoes erupting underneath the sheet, melting it from below. It's part of the natural climate variability on Earth. How callous and egotistical do you pricks, so-called scientists, that are trying to control the climate on Earth? Did they not ever consult with a paleoclimatologist or an actual scientist about the natural variability of climate and how that's important in species and microclimates and adaptability? Probably not. Not to mention that the fact that every 12,000 and 100,000 years there's a major catastrophe in the form of a magnetic reversal, and every 400 years the sun flickers and we have a grand solar minimum which collapses societies, and everyone's like, hey, what's going on? Global warming, it's our fault! And the powers that be continue to corral you like sheep. You have no idea that you're a farm animal, and it's almost embarrassing. But I'm glad you're watching the show because you're actually getting somewhere. Now, could piling man-made snow up on Antarctica stop ice sheet collapse? Well, it could. It would cost trillions of dollars, and it's absolutely useless because the climate will continue to shift naturally regardless of what we do. And here's my case in point. And I hope you're listening closely. Let's take all of the nuclear weapons, all the powerful arsenal that the human species has right now, and let's ignite it all and let's melt all the ice sheets. Did you know that those ice sheets would grow back in less than 4 years? and that we would have spent all of the energy and all the resources and killed all life on the planet, but to no avail. The climate, the universe, the solar system would recover and would continue the standard natural climate variability that's been going on time immemorial, regardless of humans and our pathetic attempt to control it. Man, get over yourself already. Now, the good news is that in the mainstream science communities, the work of Svensmark is catching more and more traction. Galactic cosmic ray research reigns on man-made climate change parade. Hello, holla! And that's tonight's second boom. Are you prepared for what's coming? Change in climate. Yeah, change in our magnetosphere. And it's all being confused by a bunch of schmucks that have a bunch of channels, according to Ben Davidson over at Suspicious Observers, that all got their start because of him, and he invented the grand solar minimum, and if you don't listen to him, then you won't get the right information. Well, Ben, I respect you 100%, but I also beg to differ. The grand solar minimum started in 2014, and there's no way you can deny that fact until the end of the grand solar minimum, when they actually create a beginning and an ending to the event. So no matter how big your head gets, or how cute you are with your children, the facts are the facts, that we've been reporting on the facts since the beginning. And I don't watch Adapt 2030, Ice Age Farmer, and I certainly don't watch the Grand Solar Minimum channel, because they have no basis in even reporting on science. They don't have any science background. So that's just questionable to begin with. Now, I've met Christian Westbrook and David Dubine, and they're both extremely smart and talented people. And they've done all their homework and researched everything. So I have no idea where you're coming from or what you're talking about. But apparently you've become so compartmentalized, and you wrote the textbook. So that's how that goes. But the work of Svensmark happened decades before Ben Davidson even knew how to use a computer, probably. He's just a child. But galactic cosmic ray research now is raining down on man-made climate change parade because it's actual science. Isn't that amazing? A pair of new international studies which punched holes in the absoluteness of the IPCC nonsense have gotten little to no attention by the corporate media because they are the controllers. And I think Ben is falling into the controller's lap. Yeah, he's interested in making a career and money, becoming famous, and retiring early. Just like all the other schmucks that don't get that societies collapse and they're not prepared. Forget qubits. Scientists just built a quantum gate with qubits, which will fail as the magnetosphere wanes and the grid fails because there'll be no fucking purpose for them. Because at that point, no one will even know how to grow food, but we'll have qubits with gates and shit, and we'll be able to quantum compute, and AI will take over. You know why? Because Elon's brain computer, big text, big day, is happening. Yeah, collapse right here. See that? That's the collapse of the world because of this prick. He's about to wire some microchip into some dumb schmuck's brain, and they're going to give him the go-ahead. And that's when hopefully the solar flare comes to end it all. Otherwise, computers will control the earth. And I know panic attacks and anxiety episodes linked to vitamin deficiencies in this groundbreaking study are what's causing you to go crazy. The majority of the population that's losing it doesn't have any nutrition. Grow your own fucking food, you pricks. I'm sick of it. You want to learn how to grow food? Check out Chris Trump. He needs more subs. He is teaching natural farming and fermentation. Yes, essential micronutrients. Korean natural farming. You want to know how to farm? Go no further. Check out his playlist. Click videos, and you can watch them all. Chris Trump on YouTube. Teaching the facts about how to do it for free. The way the ancient people did it. Not the way the AI did it. Now, I'm about to launch this video in 3 minutes, Geomagnetic Reversals versus Grand Solar Minimum, to debunk an interview that Ben Davidson did on Radiant Creators, claiming that all Grand Solar Minimum channels are full of shit, He started them all, and he's the greatest person on earth. Well, if I can say one thing, it's that ego gets you nowhere, like swimwear. So, if you want to talk about facts or debate me at any time, please contact me. But you don't have the balls to debate me about anything unless you have 3 or 4 weeks to read all the papers. So check out the facts on geomatic negative reversals versus grand solar minimums, how they're not related at all, how that I don't know anyone who's ever said they are related, and if they are, they're idiots, and it's probably the grand solar minimum channel. And that prick Jake threatened to expose me as an alcoholic. Great, Jake. I've been working in recovery for decades, helping hundreds of people get over their addiction. If that's a problem with you, you can suck it. But you can already suck it because the Grand Solar Minimums channel sucks anyway. They just repeat everything we say. No amount of evidence will ever persuade an idiot. Period. I didn't say that. But I did say, be the change you want to see, which is a repeat of Mahatma Gandhi's similar quote, be the change you want to see in the world. Prepared, not scared. Are you prepared? Preparewiththeranch.com. Check out our Amazon store. Stick with the winners. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. Facts and facts are facts. And if you use historical information, if you use modern scientific analysis, and you discard the IPCC and all of its failed models, we're getting somewhere. They're picking up on the fact that cosmic rays cause cloud nucleation and are an integral part of unraveling the climate variability that is natural, caused outside of your control. Humans are not responsible for anything but local pollution and destroying the biome of the planet. That's what humans are doing. And the powers that be are convincing you that carbon dioxide is the biggest pollutant on Earth when it's not. Monsanto invented PCBs. They polluted the Earth forever. There is no residence time for those particular pollutants that they claim were safe, just like every other chemical they created, including glyphosate, which is now in the breast milk of all pregnant mothers worldwide. You can opt out by stop buying that crap. Do it now. Learn how to grow food. Opt out of the system. Listen with your heart. Follow the truth. Share this with like-minded people. And be safe. We love you.